Hello everyone and welcome to the second day of Verizon Game Changers main event.
They want to die. Let them.
Enemy down. My ult is ready. No distractions.
One enemy remaining. Spike down A.
Down! Go, go, go! Here we go! Next!
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
So far, and does has Seekers to work with, and it comes through, it does get contact onto Starbound. Here's that flood on the other side of the APC. Nice shot coming out from Rim! Nearly able to catch Starbound off guard, sorry. As we have that triple TP being heard, and disadvantage for RF. Nice little second kill, trying to spray through the third, but that's the in the end. And Lua once again saves the round for refrag.
Oh, disrupting for a bit.
Oh! The double! And that
Head first into the barrel of Teddy. And at the back is Habibti between staked up with 3. Oh my god, it's a firing range. This is gonna be
What is
found
going
out.
on?
The 1-2 punch! Red Bull clutch.
now Kalsushi could just try to make this expensive.
Enemy remaining.
Wait a minute.
Concentrate.
Wait, Kalsushi!
Game Changers action so far, and a little sneak peek from our casters. No spoilers. You're gonna have some wonderful casters for today. We have to get through our analyst desk and everything else first. Hello everyone, and welcome to VCT Verizon Game Changers Series 3. We're on day 3, and we've had some great action so far. But heartbreak ahead is now we have to look ahead to our lower.
Yeah, I said to Albert, I want to be a more
still excited to see the competition and what everyone has got for today. My name is Sierra Dawn. I'll be your host, and joining me on the analyst desk, I have none other than Athena and Van Silly. Guys, Game Changers, change the game out here. It's been absolutely fantastic. Athena, how are you doing today?
Doing great. I'm so excited for lower bracket. I feel like this is where the tensions rise, where everyone shows what they got. So I'm so excited for today.
I'm the opposite because we are in the lower bracket, so this is we're going to say goodbye to 2 other teams. So there's going to be some sad moments at the end of the day.
Yes, but it's also where, I mean, players being pushed to the rinks and it's like the do or die, it's the elimination. I feel like that's when we really get to see who shines, especially when we are looking at qualifying for the championships in Berlin. We need to send the best of the best. So yeah, the lower bracket run can be heartbreaking, but hey, for some teams, it might be worth it. Talking about that championships in Berlin and the qualifications for there, of course, this is Series 3. And people have been racking up championship points throughout the year. And when we're talking about the top teams and everything else, it's absolutely no surprise here, Athena, to see Shopify Rebellion leading the charge, though FlyQuest is pretty close on their heels.
Yeah, it looks like they're super, super close. And I think a really big emphasis on what we've been talking about this whole week has been the big 3. And as you can tell, the big 3, there they are, Shopify, FlyQuest, and YFP. These are the teams that we expected to kind of be holding these top 3 positions. And I think this is exactly how everyone kind of expected it to play out. But again, in this lower bracket, anything can happen. And the way a team can qualify by going to that first place spot means that the original qualification is still open for anyone to get.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you want to look at the scores again, what's important now is that Shopify Rebellion, after their win yesterday, they pretty much clinched a spot here to make it into champions. So for all the other teams right now for FlyQuest, what's at stake is that they actually have to make sure that they win the event, or at least finish somewhere that it's not anybody else that's going to win the event. If not, FlyQuest is going to be out of it. For all the other teams that's trailing behind, because you talked about the big three here, Athena, but from YFP all the way down to the bottom, you have to win Game Changers to make it to Berlin. If not, your dream's over for Game Changers this year.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a similar run coming out last year, so anything can happen. But I want to circle back and say congratulations to Shopify Rebellion for locking in their ticket. I mean, FlyQuest are close, but not going to be close enough. So with that, it's not close to being locked. It is locked. So an opportunity to try and title defend here, Athena, which I think is super, super exciting. Of course, being able to end off Series 3 with a win. This is a super competitive team. I'm sure they're going to be pushing for that gold, but they don't have the same stress on their shoulders as everyone else.
That's why I think they still want to win this, right? Because you still want to be the best team in North America, and you want to be the best team that represents NA at the Game Changers Champs in Berlin, and you also want to have the better seed. But also in terms of rivalry and just competition in itself, you know, G2 goes in, just won their other event over in EMEA, and then you also have Crew that's going into Berlin as well from LATAM area, and then you see like, you know, Mimi and Petra are putting like the 7s or 8s up to say how many times they've won regional events. So I'm sure there's going to be some sort of competition between them and Nakora, for example, Alexis and Mel, to make sure that they have more championships on the side of NA as well.
You know what I think, though? I actually think a nice little strat they could do is, because they have already qualified, they could just like not show anything anymore. They don't want to have those VODs on them. They can literally just play to get some reps in, try some new agent comps that they want to do, you know, nothing like actually set in stone, so that they can kind of keep everything that they actually want to bring to that main event a secret. Like you said, there's a huge rivalry. These are last year's winners. Like, they have so much to prove here that, you know, already being qualified, that's like step 1. They still have like step 3 and 4 to go.
A 2-peat would be awesome.
Yeah.
It would be a lot of fun. But for Shopify Rebellion, whether they're going to be trying to, I mean, not trying to win out, they are going to be trying to win out. Whether they try and hide those strats, if they try something new, that's something that we'll have to see for tomorrow. We have to be looking ahead at the bracket here and look at the teams that are trying to fight their way on through. And as you pointed out, Vance, for the stakes, for these teams, it is literally do or die. Not even just the sense of this bottom bracket, this lower bracket run they have to do. But they have to try and take the biggest upset of the tournament and make it all the way to the grand finals and win out the entire thing if we want to see them in Berlin.
And the best thing about this as well is if you're looking at, for example, the YFP versus Shopify Rebellion on the screen right now, you saw that YFP did get a map out of Shopify Rebellion. So when you look at the rest of that series, unfortunately, they still lost 13-2 on the other 2 maps, but at least you know that they have some grit to be able to take some maps off the best teams. So if you're looking at the top 3 that Athena liked to talk about with Dre at the beginning of day 1, there's still a possibility of upsets if YFP has to meet up against FlyQuest again, for example, or against Shopify Rebellion for a second time, because they know, since they took a map away from Shopify Rebellion, that they could potentially just win the series. So it's going to be a very tough bout going into the lower brackets moving on forward. And looking at the bottom 4, potentially YFP is your favorites to move forward and deeper out of those 4 teams.
Yeah, and I actually feel like the lower bracket this time around has been probably the closest lower bracket we're going to see. All of these teams are so equal in strengths, in pros and cons, in the way they play, mechanics. It literally just comes down to which team is better at adapting and which team actually knows what it takes to win each map when it comes to their matches. And I feel like that's something that we haven't seen in a while. It feels like sometimes it's been stomped. Sometimes it's been very obvious that the script is kind of written out there. You know, everyone knows exactly what's going to happen. But this time around, genuinely for me, the big 3 that we like to talk about, YFP, they've been showing us a lot of different things. They've been kind of proving us wrong a lot of the time. FlyQuest, they've shown that they have these weaknesses, and so have Shopify. And so this time around, this GC has been super, super close and super, super exciting to watch.
Be a lot of fun, and especially too with the different strategies that the teams are employing that they've talked about in their respective interviews. you really just don't know what you're going to be getting on the day, which I absolutely love. So with that, let's start talking about our very first series of the day, which is going to be Refrag going up against MESO Millionaires. And if you've been tuning in for this Game Changers, I mean, at this point, the teams are familiar. And if you're not, well, then talking about the players themselves, these are definitely players that you have seen around this Game Changer scene. Talking about MESO Millionaires first, I mean, when we're talking about Game Changers history here, there's definitely familiar names here, and there's other names that, yeah, if you weren't too familiar, you will get familiar today.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for Mesos in this scenario, every single one of these players has actively played on a team that has practiced for a long time. Whether it's an Org or Orgos, they have constantly been within this Game Changers team. They've had multiple different teammates. They've been solid in their roles, and they still actively play to some of the highest ranks today. So I feel like when you look at a roster like this, you see all the strengths, you see what's really good, and it's just down to how that team chemistry would work out. And Mesos, they've shown us they've had pretty good team chem going into it.
Which is really exciting to see, considering that sometimes throughout these Game Changer circuits that the teams are changing a little bit. But someone we wanted to talk about here, a little bit more, Annie Malik, because when we're looking at the series, even if they are in the lower bracket, it's kind of popping off.
Yeah, Animal has been insane. I think definitely by far one of the best understandings of lurk timings I've seen across all of GC has gone to Animal. Not only has she been able to catch all these rotations off guard and be able to fully understand, how each round is going to go towards her team by utilizing the lurk timings, she's also capitalized and played insane, super consistent, always holding down sides on that defense side, being aggressive when she needs to be, but then on that attack side, being an absolute menace, just walking through mid, breaking all the util, fully understanding how annoying it is to just be breaking all of your Sentinels util. And yesterday, Animal had an insane run too here. ACS 246, 1.7 KDA. The amount of impact she had was just absolutely insane. And I didn't even get to talk about that last round that we just saw, but Animal literally pulled out a game-winning round. Vansily, you were casting that one too.
Yeah, exactly. Finding the timing too, where the economy was broken there for MESO's Millionaires, and she ends up getting that 2K off the two players rotating towards that B site, because they're always, as you mentioned, able to find timings that allows here MESO's Millionaires to just turn around over on its heels into the favor of MESO's Millionaires. And I find it very intriguing too, because Animal, when she first started her career in Game Changers, she had an opportunity to play and be signed by Complexity GX3, and then after decided to take a step back and focus more on streaming because competing wasn't really for her, until you see her still competing in the Game Changers and still bringing what she brings from her streams, from how she plays ranked, back into fruition in competition, and also putting results into that.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to see why she's still competing, because the impact that she's making in the server cannot be understated. We have to talk about the rest of the team, though, too, and the impact that they're making. And we can talk about Teddy a little bit. Teddy was talking about in the interview about the team synergy and this trust, and also someone that fans, looking back at one of these rounds, keep their cool.
Yeah, definitely. Let's take a look at it for sure, because she was also mentioning in her interview that they're not a team that really practiced going into the Game Changers. So when it comes down to like chaos and you have to think on your toes and you have to be good here mechanically, they are able to do some individual skills. Look at this. Pay attention to the minimap to where Habibti is so far. So you do see here Teddy going for the plant and gets hit by Rolling Thunder. What does she do? Instantly puts a star down, isolates different fights, wins one, hides inside that smoke, and delays long enough for the second player here, Habibti, to come in and clutch a 1 versus 2. So it's just not on Teddy at this point, but it's also just on individual skills overall. Habibti could be in the clutch. She's great on her util as well in terms of delaying with her util too on a KO. So overall, when you need somebody to step up to the plate in these moments so that their round could be won here by MESO's Millionaires, again, if they're losing first bloods or duels against others, you still have other players that could once again turn it in favor of MESO's, converting a 4 versus 5, converting a 3 versus 5, and just winning these rounds.
And I think that actually goes full circle with what we were talking about earlier about how this roster has so many players that have been playing for so long, have had so much competition experience, that their game sense and the chemistry that they bring into the server, it always comes down to these little clutches, these little things that turn it around every single time. And that's why I really love watching this team play.
And with that confidence and that trust they have in each other, this team has been so much fun to watch. But now, we'll have to see if the stress of the lower bracket gets to them going up against Refrag for today. And when you're talking about the experienced players that we've seen going around in Game Changers, when you look at this roster, the first person that you look to is Emlua, who's just absolutely fantastic. And then you see the rest of this roster and it's like, oh yeah, no, this is a theater just stacked across the board. And they've gotten to show that throughout the competition.
Yeah, I feel like this roster has some new faces. You know, you have Riv coming from a whole new continent, a whole new game, and just coming to NA and absolutely dominating. But it doesn't matter because as a team, they've kind of found their niche. They found the way that they play. They're definitely a hyper-aggressive team, a lot more than a lot of the other Game Changers teams. And they've used that to so much really good map control and really good protocols to be able to fall back on. And it's felt like this team has really found themselves in a really, really good place. But they played yesterday against FlyQuest fans, and the first map was so close. It was overtime.
Well, that's the thing. When you're talking about teams that have to adapt going into Game Changers, this is a team for Refrag that pulls out a lot of different compositions. Going into this rematch for the third time against FlyQuest, they came out with a different comp that they played even the day before. And they even forced the hand out of FlyQuest over the whole series because Jovi had to call a timeout on the first map, 2 timeouts on the second map for him to even close the series, while Refrag, they just let their own gameplay make the work, like make the talk, because they never pulled a timeout on their side. So game plan is sound. You talk about mouth control, where even players like Riv is lurking on a breach on Sunset and still getting 2Ks and 3Ks for a team. So they have a great understanding for their own timings individually, and then when you have to put them together with Emlua and Aluvali, it looks like a really, really complete team.
I mean, these two players have been standout for this team. One player will go off first game, next player will go off second game, and Emlo and Aluvali, these two players have just been kind of the rock. The consistent rock for both these teams, where they've been top fragging. Emlo on the Sentinel, generally just holding down sides, not really caring at all, and Aluvali on that controller, using util to such precision and timing to be able to enable herself to be in a lot of these clutch positions. So it just feels so insane to watch these two players play side by side, where either one of them can become the star of the show. So again, they definitely found their niche, they found their confidence within this roster, and I think that they've shown us a lot of what they have, and they have a really high skill ceiling for more.
Yeah, Riv had talked about in her interview after the win against Oomfies how there was just strong individual performances across the board that could really set them up for that success, and being able to have that trust in each other too, and being able to see that come to light in their game, like up against FlyQuest, even if it was a loss, I think speaks a lot to this team and what they're capable of. And when we're talking about the differing styles of the teams as well, we're talking about the individual performances that can pop off, whereas on the other end, Meso's Teddy was talking about we don't get to practice as much, we go for this comfort. I think it's a really interesting contrast, but also kind of similarity, which when we do see the stresses of this lower bracket here at Theta, I'm kind of curious how that's all going to come to light.
I mean, I'm really glad you brought up the differences in playstyle, because on one hand, we have Refrag, which is this insane aggressive team. They're known for, even on their defense side, to be able to push up, take that map control, and take any space that the team has kind of left behind, and they'll always be able to over-rotate based on that information. But on the other side, we have Mesos, who's known for being super slow with their defaults, setting up Animal in those lurk positions that we've been talking about this whole time, and being able to kind of go off of the information they have. So it might come down to a lot of these 1v1s in unexpected areas of the map, fighting for a lot of this map control, and the adaptation from either of these teams is going to be crucial in seeing which team can kind of make it out on top, because there are literal polar opposites in how they play.
And at least if I want to talk about Meso's Millionaires, I think, you know, when they're saying that they don't have too much time to practice, I think we experienced that firsthand when we've watched them play that Haven composition when they played an ISO and a Yoru. It looks good on paper. There's some top teams that have run it, but when it comes to the synergy and trying to apply, pro strats into your own gameplay, and when it's not practice, it kind of falls to pieces, right? It broke apart, and that's basically how they got smashed on that map against our opponents yesterday too. So I think looking at them today with a team that realizes with less practice, you got to play with your comfort picks, I think we're going to play a little bit more standard, and which is why we're probably going to see a little bit more of that defaulting that you're mentioning, Athena.
Yeah, I feel like every single team kind of has their pros and cons, and they're going to fully understand kind of... I also wonder too, because as a player, when I watch another team play, I try to pick up on tendencies and see kind of how they're going to be able to adapt and form a game plan around the other team. And for Mesos, knowing that they don't practice, but knowing that Refrag is really aggressive and really strong on their early round pushes, maybe their defaults will literally just play right into that. Like they're gonna know, they're gonna hold based off of that and just have those over rotates, those quick protocols. So I think a lot of the stuff that comes into it might not necessarily be about practice. It could just be like, hey guys, I'm IGL Animal here, and I really want us to just keep holding. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't actually have to go in a server fully practice, especially when they have these flushed out defaults that they've done so well, like you said, on their comfort maps. So yeah, I think for both teams, definitely looking promising. For this, I'm thinking it's going to be a really close matchup. So I have a kind of a prediction, but I don't want to talk about it yet, unless you guys want to talk about it.
No, let's talk about it. You can't tease us like that. What's the prediction? What do you think is going to happen? To give me the tea.
Okay, all right. I think Vance will agree with me on this one, kind of, but I think Refrag is going to win. However, I think it's going to be close. I think this is probably the lower bracket matchup that will go to 3 maps. If one of them does go, it should be this one. Meso's Refrag.
Yeah.
3 maps.
I do agree with you, because if we're looking at it even for playstyles for both of these teams, as one being more aggressive, one being more defaulty, there's a lot of these moments, though, that it's a lot of individual plays. You talk about the lurking timings from the side of Meso's Millionaires, but also a team that's not practiced, you kind of have like your players that feels like they had to make hero plays, so it comes down to these duels. So if you're looking for duels between Aluvali dashing in against, Bunny B dashing against Aluvali on the controller, then it comes down to those individual fights. So whoever shoots better today is going to win for sure. But it's not going to be one of those trade protocols of like fundamentals of like we have 2 or 3 for instant trades or whatnot. I think it's going to get pretty brawly for the series.
100%. I think this is going to be the closer of the two. Looking at it, like right away, I'm like, ooh, I think it's going to be Refrag. And then kind of thinking about it a little bit more, I think there is actually some really cool upset potential with Meso's Millionaires, because they're talking about this not being able to practice as much, being what's comfortable. How do you prep against someone who, like, they don't even know what they're going to be picking for the map, right? So I think it could be fun, and if they're shooting for today, it's going to be a great day. But we're talking about our predictions and stuff. Let's get the map picks and bans so we can have a little bit more information to base that off of. We got to see a little bit from them so far going into things. Oh, Athena, we're going to be kicking off on Abyss.
Ooh, Abyss. I think this definitely makes sense for Mesos. We saw them be really strong on this map. I think 2 days ago, we saw them almost win, unfortunately, going to overtime against YFP, but that definitely should have gone their way. And then after that, they've just shown so much understanding of Abyss. For me, for Refrag, I feel like Abyss might be a map where they can kind of turn into their playground, but the fully makes sense pick here is Lotus, because Refrag has been absolutely dominant on Lotus.
And now you have Bind as a 2 and the decider rather, and that's going to be a very, very comfortable map for Refrag as well. So personally, I think that all three maps rather could favor Refrag at this point. I feel that unfortunately here for Meso's Millionaires, you fell under the trap that you had such a good result against Teddy Tactics yesterday, but Teddy Tactics came and overcooked how they approached the map of Abyss. Again, so this might potentially be just a 2-0 Refrag looking at the series.
Well, but on Abyss, though, Mesos had a really, really good performance against YFP. They brought it to overtime. At some point, they were literally just having the Sentinel holding an op and entering on B. Like, it was crazy to watch. I had no idea how they were kind of coming up with these game plans, but they were performing. So for Abyss picking it, I'm sure it kind of makes sense. And so I'm not 100% set on that. I think Mesos can definitely take that one away from Refrag, but I just think Lotus and Bind for sure. I 100% agree with you with this one. Refrag has been so dominant on both these maps. Overtime against FlyQuest, winning against FlyQuest on Lotus, winning against all these other teams. It's just, it's really hard, and I feel like these 2 maps maybe shouldn't have gone through, but that's just my personal opinion going into it.
Yeah,
maybe there's a surprise for us, you know?
If anything, for me, I think you might also, looking back at how Meso's Millionaires, yes, I agree, they had like a accidental op on the well. They had the lead against YFP. I think they won like 6 rounds in a row in order to take like a 9-7 lead, but you let that slip towards the end because also when you're playing your attack side, you're seeing a lot of this paranoia flash maybe to dash in towards Tetris. So continues in the same format. If that continues in the same format, that's already 2 days of Abyss that you've played. You might be figured out here for a team like Refrag that does come prepared to play against our opponents.
I mean, now that we know the first map of this, let's talk about the agents a little bit. Because when we're talking about the teams, especially with MESO's Millionaires, talking about the, hey, we're going with comfort picks, you know, what do we think about the agent select? Do we think that we might see something a little bit different today? Do we think that because of the fact there is tape, or do you think we'll stick to same old?
Okay, I feel like every time I've spoken about a comp with any of these teams and Game Changers, I've just been instantly trolled the next second because something changes every single time. For me though, knowing both of these teams, I feel like for Mesos we might see the similar or same exact comp, only because they like to play to their comfort. That's kind of the big thing that they go under. But for Refrag, at this point, I have no clue. I got a text from one of the players, not naming names, telling me that they were picking their agents based on a wheel. So I have no clue if that's real, correct information. And if it is, y'all are crazy and you guys are doing a great job for just randomly playing agent roulette. So I have no clue. I'm gonna be real. I have no clue. I expect to see similar comps, similar meta comps, but at this point, count me out.
Well, let's see what the agent roulette rule has for us today as we head over to our agent select. See if we see something typical or a little bit more atypical from this unnamed player. So you have dubbed them, but going across the board. First reactions.
First reactions for me, I think this is pretty standard as well, right? Double initiator. It's been an approach as well that when, you know, you're still trying to work the map, you try double controller, you try some Euros for certain teams, but slowly but surely teams are starting to bring forward into this double initiator type of ascent lineup because it has everything you need to work that mid like one and be a little bit more active and proactive around the map to get that silver and a knife so that you could get your op in the right place. So hopefully you're going to see Millie and Bunny B pull out those ops ASAP, and we'll see a bloodbath for both of these teams.
I feel like for me, though, since it is copycat comps, I might be more inclined to now lean towards Refrag, only because I feel like
now you're gonna
No. Listen. Only because it's copycat, and I feel like mechanically we've seen Refrag consistently perform. We talked about their stand-up players, so for me, I'm gonna just say, mechanics-wise, I'm on Refrag's side for this, but Mesos-wise, I'm on their default side for this. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah. We'll take that.
Spoiler, Athena was just, you know, instead of agent roulette wheel, we have the team roulette wheel of who's going to be winning this first map. But it's time to get started with our very first map here of this series. Lower bracket run, Abyss on the horizon. Time to head over to our casters, Uber and Wyatt, for map number 1.
Thank you very much, Sarah and the desk. Great to be here, getting involved in some game changes action and waiting for a while. And already we've seen some fantastic matches throughout the course of this bracket. But now we've got 2 teams, Wyatt, who both ended Series 2 in 5th to 6th place. This is a game, though, for top 4. This is a game for a step up for either of these squads to demonstrate that improvement over the year. And for Refrag, having made those changes around the core of this team, they're definitely hoping that that hard work and that change has paid off.
You know, be able to successfully deal with some of these top teams, top contenders.
Meso's here, already with a calamity control here. We'll see. Animal left is a bit of a loose end for the time being. Kazler would be the one to see this. They've got to see them cross, and yes, at least she's able to get involved and find the one. But now the cat's out of the bag, and Meso start to kick up the pace a little bit. It's just Emluo here on the B side, but she's able to find these frags and fall off that line. Now through that cyber cage, Teddy spotted out, but wins it. There's only 7 HP left for Emluo, so fair enough. But still 4 up for the defenders here. No plant yet either for Mesos Millionaires. And Habibti has to try and extract some value out of this round in a 1 versus 3. And dark cover clears up and Millie gets there. Great start on the pistol here for Refrag.
Nicely done there by Emluo, the Cypher, who's been one of the standout players for Refrag. One of those 2 new additions that you mentioned previously that they made when they had 2 little roster swaps between Series 2 and Series 3, the one we're in right now. Stepping up already, getting the Outlaw onto the field, which, listen, if they win this round and retain that, look at the weapons being bought up from MESO's Millionaires. A couple Sheriffs, there was a Marshal there even for a second. So that Outlaw could have some light armors to go up against in the future with some one-shots.
I mean, they're all very susceptible to the Outlaw as it is, but Teddy going to get the drop on Millie there. He's looking to play that off angle inside A lobby. There is some backup. Aluvali able to emerge through that dark cover. Now there'll be a defensive crossfire setup as they fall back on the A site. This has obviously drawn Kazler into the action as well. And that Outlaw sitting over at B.
Things just slowing down now in the mid-round. Bunny B left inserted into main while the rest of MESO's Millionaires pick up the other extremities, making sure that there's not going to be a deep push out from Refrag anywhere. Try and keep that passive information going. And actually that knife, I'm not sure if that got broken by Bunny B, if the sound was made there.
Emno is in a great spot for this. Good T. And 0 point thrown over towards the site here, but that's going to be one for Emlo now. Scary stuff for Animal. It might be a bounce back over to the A side here behind this recon dart Slandy threw down.
30 seconds left.
There's going to be presence in tower in a moment, and yet through security, here come the defenders. Refrag will emerge and only drop 1 gun to this round. Like you mentioned, Wyatt, with that biggest spend here for MESO's Millionaires. It's going to be tough in the next round if they have to bring those light armors in.
Yeah, luckily, though, the plant going down should stave off that future, the brokey future. They should have enough for the full buy now, and that Outlaw won't be too much of an issue. But still, obviously, on this map with the deep sight lines, it is an incredibly powerful weapon, and eventually when you can grid to that operator, can really take over the game. On this sight line right here that we're seeing Emluo, all the way from heaven to main. But overall, still nicely dealt with by Refrag, up 2-0 now.
Now already Refrag getting a little inventive with Millie's positioning. Play up inside that A main. Nicely done by Bunny B though. Emlo with the Outlaw there through mid. Would have taken 2 shots were it not a headshot, so a clean pick off for the attackers now. And Aldrone will look to try and re-clear mid and confirm that, yep, Bunny B is still there, albeit low after taking a shot.
Now with Emlo down, you can see Refrag scrambling a little bit, trying to get some information towards B, pick up some of those lost angles of Lufali, on that rotate over. And in the meantime, pushing out A. I like this decision here from the duo, the Jet and the KO, allowing the other 2 players to really try and dig into back B site. Kazler is spotted, but actually long range. Finds that pick with the Spectre. Pretty crazy trying to rotate. Gets caught out, though. A lot of pressure now on Aluvali.
But the anti-flank trip's been removed as well, so MESOs know they're on a clock here. They know this should at least be 1 player looking to backstab them now. And they're probably making some noise about it. Into the Crow's Nest goes Rib, grouped up there with Millie. Teddy in a position. Habibti with the off angle here. And Refrag at the risk of really just feeding themselves to the beast right now. Perhaps Millie has the opportunity to abscond here with a weapon upgrade, but it might be advisable to try and keep a cap on this econ that MESOs are starting to build up. That's 3 up at the end of the round.
I did like the decisions that Refrag were making in the mid-round there to get some information around the map, entrenching 2 players back B while they had that push out A. I like those little decisions, but obviously at the end of the day, there was a serious gun diff there. MESOs being all vandaled up against a bunch of SMGs on a long-range map, so able to clean things up regardless with a smooth B execute. But now, that operator, it is in the hands of Millie. Deep sightline down mid.
That'll be cleared quickly, and Millie is able to hold this line with the operator. Couple rounds prior, MESO's Millionaires have really looked to make a lot of use of mid. The shoulder peek also doesn't draw the shot out of Millie, so she remains undetected. Maybe not giving her a whole lot either. Posting back up the angle to take a shot. This will force Meso's Millionaires back here. At least for a moment. And you see they've, of course, left Animal here in mid before extracting her as well. But a Cypher cam behind them. So we'll be able to see if there's a defensive push-up.
Take flight.
There's a drone forcing Millie back, just still playing behind that smoke. Mesos are putting a lot of emphasis on making it seem like they could be working up mid, but they're actually all just going back towards A for the full execute. But Riv just shuts down her BBT immediately.
That is huge. Of course, they'll still be suppressed for the time being. Iluvali needs to back away from that paranoia. Riv, though, looks like she's ready to take this fight, but it would have been a double swing. Bunny B able to find the
30
headshot.
seconds left.
Group up insecurity here. We might see a late posting in tower by Kazla. That's wild. Slaney getting picked off, and now we might have a double, triple face here coming out from security. Are they looking the right way? Iluvali's able to find Bunny B, and Emlo is there at least with the trade. Now one in tower. Neural theft going off. Kazla not able to make use of it there as they get picked off before they really get a ping. And Meso's Millionaires in the post plant honestly really hold down.
Yeah, nice swings for each other, and Annie again, who was just the standout for Mesos in their victory against Teddy Tactics yesterday. Continuing to bring some of that momentum into this game. That was a really nice 2K. That second shot as well to close out the round. Nicely handled there. Applying all that mid pressure throughout the round, working into the big A execute. And it's got Refrag with their economy in the bin after winning that pistol round. Irrelevant now with the score tied. And with all the cash in the hands of Mesos. The actual millionaires.
They really kept Millie so busy in that last round that Operator never got into the game. Now, obviously not an option for Refrag at a round like this. Grouped up here, maybe anticipating a walk down mid from Mesos Millionaires, but going up against an anti-eco,
Here.
you can see Mesos Millionaires are actually holding a little bit deeper on the extremities of the map here. A ping over towards A might indicate that they head in that direction, try and make a hit towards that site happen, and Kazla might end up falling back to tower or even towards mid as Refrag lean, stack into that B site.
It's just this slow prod towards A0 point. Going to give the information to Meso that no one is at least entrenched here physically on the site. Wow, little peek from Kazla. What a shot. One bullet, one kill, Slandy down. All of a sudden, some opportunity for Refrag. Still massive gun disadvantage as the rifle gets safely cycled into main out of the hands of the retakers.
On that check towards security, definitely there's plenty of information by Iluvali there. Mesos with this heavy post plant set up towards A main is obviously very spammable through these dark covers. Kazla spotted out there over towards the bridge, and Bunny B wasn't quite able to connect around the cyber cage. She's looking to try and spray down, but Iluvali's still on the defuse. Somebody has to stop her, and eventually Bunny B finds the shot. Kazla, though, yet another one in this round. Sheriff going to work, and they are 1 versus 3. Not too shabby for Refrag, but playing that post plant always going to be tough against these rifles.
Absolutely. Yeah, a modest bit of damage done. But realistically, what can Refrag do in that position once Mesos just retreat back into A main? They even set up a trip for themselves in main if that push was going to come through to fight them deep, but with no utility and only Sheriffs. The spam war was lost before it began. A little bit too easy for Mesos there, continuing to build upon the economy that they already got rolling. And it looks like Bunny B has intentions of using the Blade Storm into this round with the Bucky, and yep, straight off the bat, there it is with the recon going deep. Standard camera from Mesos early. This has just been their opening every single round towards mid.
This is dangerous. Getting up into tower with those blades here. Door was already blown out at the start of the round. Teddy here holding for a push-up defensively. Exactly what they were looking for, but there's going to be more, I think, than they maybe bargained for. 3 players there for Refrag. So it results in a trade. This is now going to pull Animal over in that direction here, and you'll notice the spike has not been committed. Mesos Millionaires might still be relying on Bunny B to create that opening towards the A side of the map, but they've got to blast through this door first, and that's being held. The ping, though, off the neural theft reveals Emlo on the other side. And a confirmation. So Bunny B bides her time.
0 point goes out there as well, and Bunny B taking that opportunity with the Cypher's utility nullified to break out of the door. Annie on the flank as well. There's a lot of action going on with the Hunter's Fury trying to deny the flank. Can it find a kill, though? It doesn't.
Plant denied. Honeybee here with the Blade Storm still out. She was able to break into tower. We saw the fallback from Emluo, who ultimately fell. Slandy also one away from Hunter's Fury. That might be relevant in a post-plant scenario here. But they're playing entrenched on the site. Beautifully done. Hassler tries to show themselves in security, and there's Millie also revealing oneself. Now 1 versus 4, and there's not a whole lot Millie can do from there. She is stuck in security. And Mesos in these post-plants have been pretty oppressive.
Refrag do a nice job with that early defensive aggression. That's certainly an aspect of their overall game on all maps that is important to keep note of when you're playing against them. But realistically, all that good work that they did, getting deep on B, going 1-for-1, is out the window as soon as the neural theft is used by Annie. Getting all of the information, realizing that the A site was wide open, they get it for free yet again. Mesos are looking clean on their map pick, and frankly, Mitch, I think that this is a must-win for them, their map pick. Because with Lotus next, a map that Mesos always ban if they can, they're going up against Refrag, who are 18-1 on Lotus in 2024. So this is must-win to me.
I don't even think Mesos have played that map, but Castler's in trouble, though. Bunnybee on the site in a flash. And Animal, of course, getting involved, bringing Riv down. And Refrag now again are very much going to struggle from this position. We haven't seen a lot of these B hits yet mixed in from Mesos Millionaires. Outside of maybe that first gun round for them back in round 3. And at this point, you're hoping for exits, and it's unclear how much more. Miller will look to earn the Blade Storm here. It's unlikely to be able to do too much with it. Luvely, though, deals with Bunnybee over by Container. They'll be smoked off now in heaven and also pinged out, so may as well go for it. Paranoia going to be thrown out. This is the setup. Millie and Emlo across the side. Oh, that dark cover. It's going to allow them to get in. Okay, Refrag 2v3 right now, but Animal is too much to handle on the site. Emlo able to bring them down, but that's a 1v2 and no time to defuse. Mesos Millionaires make it 5-2.
Clean enough damage. Pretty irrelevant. The economy is already way too strong for Mesos. They're actually going to pick up an attack side operator even. And Bunnybee. He's in so deep on a site exactly like that. Mixing it up. Just trying to bring something new midway through this half. Something that the defenders won't expect. Nope. Actually just going to go back to the Vandal. Never mind.
Yeah, unless she's trying to post up Crow's Nest B side, get a free pick or control mid a bit more. Mesos Millionaires have been very effective at least neutralizing Refrag's ability to use this part of the map. With that Cypher cam to catch a lurk. And so now we are heading into a position that Riv might be able to light up much of Mesos Millionaires here. But even with an early warning system, Emilo is the closest, and she's playing pretty far back towards the middle of the map.
This is going to be tough for Riv. They're going to just need to get out and survive. They don't really have any help here at all. And Bunnybee already in with the dash. Emilo, what a timing to find.
That smoke there is huge. I mean, Mesos Millionaires, they send an out drone up there. That's what Bunnybee gets in behind. But Emilo,
oh my god,
very dangerous right now. Neural theft pings revealing the players out there on the side from Mesos Millionaires, but Habibti's found 2, and that's all that we're getting here. So Andy tucked up in the corner. Castle was low. That's a second. And it went to the wire, but Luvely will be the last one to stand and finally get Refrag around back. Tough, though, economically, to only take 1 gun away, but hey, you take the round win either way.
That is some sick anchoring from Emluo. The confidence on those swings. Getting back in with the first, popping the neural theft, but then the second, just out the smoke instant snap onto Teddy. That was a nasty shot, just so aware. So ready for that. And all that pressure being applied allows Riv and Millie to fight back from the spawn side. Sure, they go down, but they just have everyone encircled on the site. That was really nicely handled. First gun round 1 in the game for Refrag.
Slandy with the Hunter's Fury available now. It's an old command here for Riv, so you might see her really try and stave off a fast A here. Or some flash utility being expended by Mesos Millionaires to that effect. And Bunnybee hoping that there is a later swing, a bait off the back of that. This time she has opted to take this attacking op towards A.
Now this is Annie getting a really aggressive position all the way into the vent while Bunnybee just searches for a pick to manifest itself over on the A site. Maybe someone going for a jiggle peek or a jump spot, but it's not going to happen. And with Annie applying all of that pressure, the B site is where Mesos want to go. Leave her on that late lurk. He had gotten all this space for free on B. What a great call. And now it's a matter of Annie finding a great timing here on the flank.
Wyatt Aluvali didn't see anything when she TP'd over to B to check if there was a push-up. Everybody from Mesos was actually playing back still towards Crow's Nest when it came down, and then they hit the site. Classic misdirection. Refrag now have to be the second team to step up here, and just timing not really favoring them. Bunnybee, of course, has a pretty nice post-plant angle, but she's forced off of it with a miss. And now Aluvali and Emlo are both able to drop to the site. This gets a little bit nerve-wracking now for Teddy. Playing by the container, but dealing with one arm of the pincer definitely means you're feeling a bit safer. The bait TP as well to imply a move into the smoke. Bunnybee's able to capitalize.
And that is all the money in the bin for Refrag as well with the round loss. Mesos have an opportunity to completely run away with a half at this point. I like how Refrag started that round too. They made an adjustment to counter this mid-default that Mesos have with Annie throwing that cam over towards the left side, the cage going down, and then they break the door. No, they decided to use their dark cover, put it pretty deep, and feign that they could be pushing up, fighting a bit forward. They broke Annie's cam, but Mesos just adapted that perfectly. That pivot to B was lovely from them, and now it's a slow round open on the anti-eco, not rushing into anything. Refrag continuing to go for this deep dark cover though, so at least slowing down any advancement in mid early.
Basically asking for a cyber cage to get Mesos Millionaires up towards that tower position. Emlo is, again, because she's the only player watching A main, she doesn't want to have to deal with the threat through mid. Pretty ponderous here for Mesos Millionaires, but now the Aldrin starts to explore up mid. No cam left behind quite yet, and they're a little unsure if there's anyone from Refrag that's a bit more entrenched, maybe wrap that corner. They did ping the box. But now we'll start to explore this B side of the map.
Oh, Aluvali did hear that drop.
And this is dangerous. So Bunnybee, what a shot, Aluvali. Sheriff rings out. That's the operator dropped here. Mesos Millionaires. Not exactly running in haphazardly, but definitely still grouped up to hit this B site. Animal able to find Riv, though. That's pretty scary. Yep, Slady now with the Hunter's Fury to force the player out from the site itself over towards Coast. The flash as well from Habibti is definitely going to rattle Refrag as Castle stood out in the middle of a fragment. But Aluvali taking 3 for the round. What a thrifty here for Refrag.
That is just so haphazard, rushed for Mesos Millionaires and punished by Refrag. Aluvali steadfast in the sight. The Sheriff, that first shot was nasty onto Bunnybee, shutting the op down immediately and then just staying alive back sight, dodging the Hunter's Fury, weaving back and forth. And you can see Riv coming in, trying to throw those pop flashes for the fight as well. Fantastic eco round. Mesos could have run away with a half, but not anymore. This is getting very close now with 2 rounds left to play.
Once again, we had the recon straight down mid. Okay, Operator's not finding much success in this game so far. This time, though, it's Millie. She opts to push out of A main here. And he's on the walk as the 50 catches her out. That's a kill through mid, though. This time, Kassler feels a bit more strongly about staking her claim to that part of the map. There is still that Cypher util set up, and behind her, Animal looks to try and take control, but there's not enough time for Refrag here to get positioned towards his A side.
Cage triggered.
A lot of mid-pressure being applied. Refrag have to be worried that Annie could be walking up there. But in the meantime, Teddy actually spotted out by 2 angles. Nice adjustment, though. Riv down. 4 versus 3. Everyone gathered up in A main, and with that kill as well, the null command is an option, and Habibti second onto Emluo needed to get that. They're just dropping like dominoes one by one. No one's really assist or try to trade.
And from this point out, Aluvali is in deep trouble. Couple of unfortunate things there for Refrag. Teddy's trying to sneak up onto that A site, just walk up in there. And in theory, they're caught in a crossfire, but they actually get one and get away. Of course, Emlo not quite able to find the head. That also hurts when you are anchoring the site. The Mesos Millionaires walk away with that round. Definitely look like their composure got them there.
A fight like that, just... You hate to see it, well, not hate to see it. I mean, I suppose you hate to see it go that way if you're a fan of Refrag, but, you know, that's just a fight win that is certainly less likely to win when you are Teddy and you are on the attack and you are caught between two angles. That adjustment was pretty sick. Last round of the half, it looks like Refrag want to go for some A main aggression here, but that is going to be shut down immediately as the 0 point catches 2.
They're still going to push this. Refrag still want to have a crack at this. It's just Habibti here. So a clean kill for the defenders. And off the back of this pop flash could be huge, and they get it. And to get themselves a rifle for their troubles. That's gone over to Aluvali. That's definitely a pressure valve released over on the A side of the map. But to do this, Refrag do give up mid. Allows Animal to get in here over towards Link.
Oh, spotted out Kazler on the retreat. But it's a bait. Emlu, perfect timing. Only goes 1 for 1. And a weak on the retreat. Aluvali teleports over to B. That could be a really heads-up play.
It'll be absolutely astonishing. Aluvali challenges the operator line. And Teddy falls soon after. That was an absurd round from Refrag, with considering how little they were able to bring into it. All the way from the triple walk out on A, the control of mid, the crossfire setup as Castle was passively shoulder peeking that rather. That's chef's kiss.
It's so chaotic, but within all of that chaos, that was a really heads-up play from Aluvali. That teleport was lovely, getting back site B. Top fragging in the server right now, 15-7. One of the least experienced players that is in the server, if not the least, had just joined this Refrag team between Game Changers Series 2 this year and now Series 3. Might be the difference maker in getting this Refrag team to a further placement that they've ever gotten. The best they've done is 5th, 6th, and if they win here today, they will be in the top 4.
Yeah, those defense rounds rather were pretty important. End of the half with 5. That is a staging ground to operate from. Mesos Millionaires, though, really are going to have to give up this side initially. Emlu on a good spot to catch the retakes, and it's going to be Habibti rotating through mid. Getting picked off now. This is going to hamper Mesos Millionaires in their attempts to dig Refrag out of the site. You've got 2 players over towards Coast. Castler, of course, on a longer line that Animal's able to punish there. But here comes Millie. Ooh, the paranoia timing was very good, and somehow Millie gets away with that. Aluvali caught out in the open, though. Teddy's still low. Just one more shot from Millie will get the job done. But again, has to be careful about swinging the corner of that container. It's M with yet another one. 2 versus 2 here. Teddy steps up. And it would be down to Bunny B, but Emlo has found 3 in the round, and that's massive. Refrag with a pistol on this attack side. Both pistols getting locked down by them in this game. Gives them a chance to get a lead here on this side.
That first kill you saw from Emluo just scrambled the retake effort completely. Bunny B was still rotating over from A after that kill had been found, and just didn't know what to do, if she should push all the way down mid, try and find Emluo, get that kill, try and, you know, maybe go for that deep flank, which she did end up doing, but then it just took way too long. The rest of the team couldn't get in deep without their jet. That one kill from Emluo had such a massive impact on how everything else played out.
Millie already back site here. You said about Animal's position. Yep, they're trying to drop down. Riddo there to receive them. Definitely want a clean round of this if you're Refrag. The Marshal ringing out from Bunny B back of B, but a dark cover keeps her out of the action for a time. And now you can play full post plant. Emlo's position important, but it's triple face here essentially for Refrag. And Teddy goes very, very low.
Yeah, they're going to struggle to get any kills from that angle. A little bit of a commitment here too as far as the economy from MESO. They've got the sheriffs, that Marshal. There's some cash being spent. And they might as well have just lit it on fire. They have not found an ounce of value for this investment that they've made.
Okay, Slandy at least is able to walk away with that one, but they won't be able to recover the weapon. Millie with 3 of the round, looking every bit the consummate duelist. Actually pushed up on that B site with the Bulldog. And one thing we liked about Refrag, of course, in that first half, why it was, again, the pistol rounds were great, some ridiculous thrifties, but the volume of gun rounds won by MESO's Millionaires that had them in the lead going into the half. So Refrag want to take this map away, a map that they play very little. They need to lock the gun rounds down.
And this MESO's buy is just not that great. They have 4 light armors, missing some key pieces of utility as well. No Paranoia, no Molly for Habibti. And with 25 HP less than their opponents, they could lose some of these duels even with the better weapons. That recon is perfect.
That's absurd. Millie's got so far forward here. Bunny B actually emerged from the smoke there. Millie not in a position to trade it up, but you better believe there's other players on Refrag swarming over this B site already. Very quick spike plant. 56 and 76 HP respectively for Habibti and Slandy. No guarantee they win a round like this. They walk in with half armor, most of them, which in other words is a buy that dies to Bulldogs. Beautiful pace there for Refrag. And I've got to say, the Sova util to set them up, Wyatt, was fantastic.
Yeah, that recon ping was so crucial. Finding that easy first kill. Millie is really starting to come to life the past couple of rounds with these fast pop B executes. Finding that confidence, playing proactively, dashing in deep. Taking the fight to the defenders. MESOs are now suddenly in a tough spot after being in what looked like a dominating position. It feels like only 5 minutes ago. They're trying to walk forward, trying to go for something aggressive. They find the first, actually find the second. Things are trading out in their favor.
50 down to 5 here, but Refrag crippled after that first engagement. This will be illuminating. Can Slaney do something before these pings come through? No. Just sat there with her feet set, but is not able to turn that Sheriff into a kill. It is a free weapon here for Animal. No armor to speak of. Millie still held to 50 armor, and there she is from the back of that B side. Refrag, in the blink of an eye, have well and truly gotten into the lead in this game.
Millie's really exuding confidence right now. When you're holding an angle like that, just locked in, knowing you're going to get the tap, that's when the confidence is on maximum. Suddenly just shooting up the scoreboard. Luo still been so consistent, picking off these rotators, being that annoying presence in mid, that thorn in the side of Mesos, who've got the operator. They've got it in the hands of Bunny B, and they need to stop the bleeding here, or the game might just be over.
Riv spotted out early there, but at 0 point. There is a defensive operator here for Bunny B, but that's just holding a contact angle over towards A for the time being. Mid will be tested though, surely. Recon even expended here by MESO's Millionaires to try and this way to walk up. We're seeing Slandy wrap back around here through spawn in the direction of B.
These B executes have been working every single time. And it looks like they might just want to work into it again. No, they group up and they're going to continue to use the time that they've got left, leave Mluo inserted over towards that side of the map. They haven't explored towards A, and that's where Bunny B has just been holding with this off the whole time, allowing the rest of her team to play elsewhere, pick up the other angles. Real opportunity to find the first kill, and does!
That's the risk, Wyatt, when you start to run out of time. You maybe don't have the protocols to force an op player off the angle, and they had no idea Bunny B had brought it up in a round like this. Teddy was able to find that loose player, Mluo, over towards that B side. And inside the dark cover, Animal tried to spray over towards and stop a potential plant. Still hasn't gone down yet. It's still being tested. And the light up on the site was huge. Lubely tries to salvage the situation, but Refrag really struggled to get information.
Yeah, overcomplicating things a bit there, perhaps. Just trying to take that part of the map with no real utility. They didn't show any presence there earlier. They don't know what they're going up against, and it's that lack of information that punishes them. That lack of information that gives Bunny B that free opening kill, allows time for the full rotate from the team, and the bleeding has stopped. The bandage has been applied. Meso's economy would have been absolutely destroyed if they had lost that round, so not out of this game just yet. 0 point dodged.
Gonna be a hard, fast hit over towards B behind this now connect. We have forced the operator player off the angle with this Owl drone. And we look like we'll see Punny be drifting over towards mid here, under the assumption that it was just a loose over. Get ugly. P, Reeve watching the line though. IGL coming alive. That's how we do it down under, folks. Teddy having to back away, but over the left shoulder goes the jet. Emily is there again. She is full of confidence. Reeve's now brought back into the game here, and Mesos are down to just 2 more players to try and make it happen. Refrag at full strength. That KO ultimate really hits the mark.
And at this point, should just be a save for Meso. Ensure that they can have the full buy on the next round, with Habibti being right now. And he trying to recover that op and does get that first. Is on the retreat. Slandy picks up the angle. So nicely done, at least as far as retaining the last couple weapons that they've got. But yeah, earlier on, Mitch, it was just so haphazard, that push down, trying to fight towards the orb. There wasn't much of a plan behind it. You know, you had the Omen there and the KO. You could have tried to set something up with a Paranoia or one of the flashes, but it just felt like a decision in the moment with not a lot of prior thought behind it, and it just gets shut down with ease.
But this is kind of like feeding into the conversation the desk was having at the start of this game. Mesos Millionaires are not a team I think that is known for practicing all that much, whereas, you know, Refrag coming into things with like a new look team built around that same core. The expectation was that some of those Refrag protocols might be a little bit much for Mesos Millionaires to deal with. You just mentioned, like, you know, just the KO and Omen playing off each other. That's not something you necessarily need to put hours of practice in, but we know that Mesos Millionaires like to play a bit more loose. Might have hurt them on that particular round.
Habibti trying to hold that angle on the orb. Teddy on the side slow here. Refrag to open things up. And we're just containing towards mid. Nothing too proactive from anyone on the attacking side. Just a passive containing of the extremities as they work back towards A now.
They need info though. So this mid-round util wave, Wyatt, is going to be crucial. Last time Refrag was sort of playing to the extremities and didn't get info, they walked into a contact angle from Bunny B's operator. Time though. And Mill gets a Mild Dinkin is forced to back up here, but Refrag is still filtering in through A main. But again, Millie seems to be there. The timing she hits these sites with appears to be overwhelming. 3 up though for Refrag. They've definitely bled a little bit getting into this post-plant position. And that's not a great place to be with the off. It's a bit of an awkward angle. The best of times, and Illuvily's found yet another. Dr. Slandy and Habibti here, both grouped up in tower. They may have to split or, God forbid, save?
That aggression was so nice from Refrag. Down man taking the fight to them. Kasler, great shot, and it's just over for Slandy. There's no hope in a situation like this.
You'd have to be completely out of pocket to be able to pull that off. Slandy here knows, with the way the money is looking, the rest of Mesos Millionaires at least being able to build around an operator in the next. It's going to be absolutely crucial because it has been effective when Refrag have walked up on one of these extremities. But again, that's a great example of a slower round for Refrag where they don't have a ton of, you know, early info, but they have a really good execute.
Mesos played that so well with Animal back sight. You took that initial peek, falls back, had Bunny Bee with her, and then they wait out that initial cycle of a utility coming in on the execute. They have their own Hunter's Fury coming back in. They both swing in together off of it, find the 2 picks, get the man advantage. They're up 4 versus 3, and then Refrag just take the fight to them to win the round out, catch them out with that aggressive timing. And both teams swinging back and forth with some heavy-hitting punches, some great decisions.
Mesos Millionaires are running out of time, running out of buffer. Refrag threatening a map point here. Again, Bunny Bee can get off this angle. And nothing really used to force the operator player off. Maybe break the crosshair placement. And there's the flash. It's looking dangerous now for Bunny Bee. She's caught on the side itself, but bailed out there by Slandy. He's even able to swing the line and find Emluo, and this operator work up close has been gainful indeed. But she's low. Shock Dart comes out. She's able to avoid that now. Kazla has to cross the coast to get the spike. Plenty of time to work with here, but Teddy is healthy. And Bunnybee's still sitting with his op.
Awkward now with the smokes down. That dark cover should fade in a moment, and there it goes. The Mesos players just doubling up or trying to, but with this time being wasted, you can see now Teddy has to pick up that angle towards mid. It's possible that Kazler's just been slow walking that way the entire time. And with that time wasted,
Standing ahead.
offers the potential of a 1v1, but not after the recon dart goes down. They know exactly
I have the spike.
where Kazler is at. The spike will be planted.
Well, face here. No. Okay, Bunnybee's there. Could have gone either way. If Kazler's able to win that duel, there was only 33 health left on the Jet. Meso's Millionaires pick up an all-important round here. The economy, though, for Refrag is looking very, very good after the last few. Can still try and push this here to a 12-round lead.
That was really nice. Bunnybee kind of collecting her thoughts there for a moment and resetting them mechanically in the midst of that fight, but could not find a target on that initial hit. Was trying to find a moment to go for the op shot, couldn't, was getting winded up, all that pressure, and then comes back in. Gets 2 kills with the operator. That second flick shot onto Riv, the headshot was nasty over by the cliff. Nicely done, keeping the composure despite the chaotic opening.
Smoke thrown down there by Teddy before they could be suppressed off of it. And the defensive operator for Bunnybee has definitely been getting results here. Just a probe, so to speak, over towards the B side here for Refrag. Aldrain will be saved off, and they do look like they want to drift in the A direction. And they made no attempt here to really do too much about mid. It could be fear of that operator. They do have plenty of util to look to force that line off of Bunnybee.
And they've got everything they need for a big full execute. Wow. And they're getting aggressive, playing close off this smoke. Going to have to contend with multiple flashes. 0 point as well. Trips nullified. Recon in. Look at the wave of utility.
Unreal!
Spike down.
He's got away with it, Wyatt. Animal tucked in that corner, able to find 2 eventually. Refrag get through, but already that's a pretty hefty blow to suffer. Once again, playing the post plant short-handed. Teddy doesn't really have tower control here. This is something that Refrag definitely want to leverage aggressively. Haluvli, important frag to win out there for Teddy, as now they can move up to this spot. Emluo threatens a backstab here. She completes that kill. It's a 2v3 now as Meso starting to make their way out of security. Rib suppressed, spotted out, and doesn't have the right angle, the right timing. Emluo now has to try and salvage this. 20 health in a dream. The headshot connected. 4 kills here for Emluo, and now time is not on Mesos' side. Emluo from within that cyber cage can clutch this out. An unreal ace for Emluo. What a round to win for Refrag.
That one tap, one bullet is outlandish. You can't be getting away with that. Emluo and Aluvali both on 21 kills right now. The 2 new additions to this team between last Game Changers and this one. And look at how much good work they are doing for the squad. That is filthy work. That one tap was so sick, man.
I'm already treated to an iBuyPower ace, my first Game Changers cast. Oh yeah, I'm sticking around. That was nuts. And a huge round now, taking Refrag to map point, by the way, on a map they didn't pick. So they definitely don't have a lot of history on. And this new look squad is looking very, very good. Minute goes over the top here. Bladestorm is going to be there for Bunnybee, but no purchase on the knife, and Kazler finds 2. This is looking dire for Meso's Millionaires, and that, folks, is putting it lightly. At least a vandal to hand for an animal here. Definitely no corpses, though, to get the neural theft pings off.
Refrag has really put themselves in prime position to win out this series 2-0. We're heading to Lotus next, their map pick, a map that they are 18-1 on in 2024. A ridiculous stat line. What a performance. That attack half was just explosive, to say the least, Mitch. Those B-site execs, like, Millie really started coming to life on the side swap. The aggression on the Jet was really nice, but it is just the two new additions to the team that have taken over for Refrag. They look incredible right now. That ace from MLUO was just so sick.
And remember, that's like that's a post-plant situation where they're in like a 3 versus 4. They lose a couple players on the way into that that A site and are still able to convert. A lot to talk about that map. That was a sick one and a huge win there for Refrag. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to look ahead for the rest of this series. And as Wyatt already teased, a pretty delicious looking map around the corner for Refrag.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Hey guys, it's Jimmy Lin. In this series, I'm going to walk you through Attack on Pearl. Watch out for the stairs, clear this angle. You're going to be able to fight this.
At Verizon, every phone can be the new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence. Wow, phones are going to be flying to Verizon.
At Verizon, new and existing customers can get iPhone 16 Pro and a new iPad, all on us. Only on Verizon.